Hello everybody, it's DJ Baby Cole here, bringing you a new YouTube video. In this video, I will be discussing privacy laws and facial recognition systems. So David Paris published an article in The Guardian on 7th of August 2020, and he states, at the federal level, there are virtually no safeguards regarding facial recognition technology. Here in Australia, our Human Rights Commissioner has just published a report entitled Human Rights and Technology, Final Report 2021, published in March 2021, and the findings detailed state that stronger privacy laws are needed to protect Australians from the risks associated with facial recognition. Recommendation 19 within the Human Rights and Technology Final Report 2021 recommends that Australia's federal, state and territory governments should introduce legislation that regulates the use of facial recognition systems and other biometric technology. So I've highlighted here, this is the bill which has not yet been passed into legislation. The Joint Security and Intelligence Committee rejected this bill in Parliament. They basically stated that there was not appropriate oversight mechanisms explicitly detailed. It was kind of missing, and nor were there provisions safeguarding against the potential exploitation of citizens' privacy via mass surveillance. So the Joint Security and Intelligence Committee rejected this bill highlighted here. Australian Passports Amendment, Identity Matching Services Bill 2019. So it hasn't been legislated yet, hasn't been passed through Parliament, and it has been rejected to be redrafted completely. The Home Affairs Department has launched the new Enterprise Biometric Identification Services System in June 2020. Now, this proposed Identity Matching Services Bill, legislation highlighted above, will allow the Home Affairs Department to collect, use and disclose identity information such as driver's licenses or passport photos. This Enterprise Biometric Identification Services System is the centralized federal system which matches driver's license photos and passport photos to an individual to confirm their identity. This system uses Unisys's stealth identity, multi-factor identity management and authentication solution, which also supports facial biometric, fingerprints, iris and voice recognition, and uses French-based company IDE MIA's facial and fingerprint recognition algorithms. Australian Border Force are a big user of the Enterprise Biometric Identification Services system for the purposes of immigration and passport verification. All states and territories agreed to build this centralised federal system through the Council of Australian Governments in late 2017. So that's CoAG, which you've possibly heard in the mainstream media or read in the newspaper. That's what CoAG is. It's the Council of Australian Governments. So all states and territories agreed to build this centralised federal system via CoAG in late 2017. In September 2019, it was publicly reported in the mainstream media that the Victorian government would be uploading driver's license photos to the federal government's National Driver License Facial Recognition Solution, but will only allow it to be accessed by its own Victorian state government agencies for now. So they say. The Victorian government's own website states National Driver License Facial Recognition Solution cannot be used for mass surveillance. So it's only the Victorian state government that's departments that are going to be allowed to access Victorian driver's license photos for now, so they say. In October 2019, the federal government federal government's Joint Security and Intelligence Committee rejected this Australian Passports Amendment Identity Matching Services Bill, as it did not explicitly provide for appropriate oversight mechanisms nor provisions safeguarding against the exploitation of citizens' privacy via potential mass surveillance. So the Joint Security and Intelligence Committee requested that this bill be redrafted completely. The Law Council of Australia made a submission to the Joint Security and Intelligence Committee stating that the proposed bill does not make provision for penalties against private organisations where an unauthorised access of a person's biometric information occurs, and said the existing controls in the draft bill are insufficient. I can also state here that the Law Council of Australia also suggested that further information needs to be explicitly detailed in the bill, which details how informed consent will be recorded and verified to a standard that then enables access to the citizen's biometric data. So we can say Victorian driver's license photo. The Australian Councils for Civil Liberties also opposed private sector access to the Federal Identity Matching Services system. So one of the issues now that we're looking at just now is that we have an issue with the Victorian state government proposing to privatise VicRoads. This would also potentially place your driver's license photos at risk of private companies having access to your biometric driver's license photo. So William Binney, who used to be the formal technical director at the National Security Agency, the NSA, he's publicly stated that there's been significant problems in the US with private intelligence companies that have contracts with the NSA or the CIA, and they are accessing the NSA database. It's been a big problem in the US. William Binney's publicly stated this multiple times. So it's something that we need to be mindful of. My previous YouTube video, which is titled Are Facial Recognition Systems Being Used at Airports? I said that I would divulge which government agency is reconciling facial recognition passport photos with the electronic version of your passport. It's Australian Border Force and Home Affairs Department. So these two government agencies are reconciling facial recognition passport photos with the electronic version of your passport. I've provided below in the description below a link to the CoAG article, which details why the Joint Security and Intelligence Committee rejected the Australian Passports Amendment Identity Matching Services Bill. It's a good article, and I've also included the actual Australian Parliament House link for this Australian Passports Amendment Identity Matching Services Bill 2019. It's very detailed, and you can see the progress of how this bill has progressed through Parliament. It hasn't been legislated. It's been rejected by the Joint Security and Intelligence Committee. And I'll be going through more details in future YouTube videos. So please feel free to subscribe and like my videos if you like them. Thanks. Speak to you soon. Bye.